You know, it's interesting on this channel, and even on our property, we gear everything to bow hunting. And so there's a lot of places that we go out where, you know, we'll go out, and the place we're going to tonight, it's a redneck and it's over a water hole. It's really super brushy. There's no trees. And so we stuck a redneck there because we can put up on a 10-foot platform and shoot over the brush, get in the brush, and actually hunt that location. Another option would have been a tripod, but then Dylan wouldn't be sitting with me tonight. And so, you know, I think this morning I was looking at, this is the 17th, either redneck blind, redneck ghillie blind, hang on stand, ladder stand, or tree saddle setup that I've hunted this year in Minnesota. So 17 different locations, and we just try to match where we're hunting to the conditions. And what ends up happening is, because we're gearing everything for those shorter shots, we end up hunting out of the same blinds or stands with a bow or gun. And we have multiple tags in Minnesota because of CWD, which I'm happy we get those multiple tags at least, but it's one for muzzleloader, one for gun, and one for bow. So we end up hunting and shooting deer. You know, I've shot deer with a rifle or muzzleloader at under 20 yards, just because you're hunting that stand. It's a good stand, and you're going in. So we gear everything to bow, but we love gun hunting. And I love the tradition of gun hunting. Jen and I are going all the way out to Pennsylvania again this year, and we will gun hunt and participate in Pennsylvania. Supposed to go out to Michigan. There's still a chance we will, but when we have open tags in Minnesota, it's hard to leave. And so, and I'm not saying 3 tags, we usually shoot 1 buck. I've shot 2 one time here in the last 6 seasons. So we don't do that very often, but I love hunting till the end of the season. You get to know the deer herd, and we don't want to miss out on great opportunities in end of November, December. Gun season though, incredible strategies for gun season. I love gun hunting. I love the tradition of it. I go to a lot of clients where they'll say, you know, I just don't like gun hunting. But when you can watch a food source, when you can sneak into the backside of a bedding, when you've set up your property that way to where you can go in and enjoy that extra tag or enjoy that extra season or length of time to hunt, incredible opportunities. And nothing better. I went in with Jackson the other night. So Jackson and I sat and watched a food source. He's a 3.5-year-old. And you could do that with a gun off in a distance and watch a food source fill up with deer, and it's fun. It's fun for him. It's fun for me. I made a comment. I didn't put that video out. We didn't put it because I didn't shoot anything, but I commented in there that when you take a kid out there like hunting, we think of the perfect sit. Now, I love watching sunrises, sunsets, love the beauty of it all, seeing some nice deer. A lot of times our success in a stand is measured on how many deer we see. Think about a 3.5-year-old or a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old you take out to the woods. There is not a time you go out in the blind that it's not a perfect sit for them. They don't have to see any deer, and it's still a perfect sit. And I thought about that with Jackson the other. We had snacks. We had juice for him to drink. I let him hold the flashlight to walk through a tunnel of switchgrass on the way out in the evening. We snuck in and out without spooking deer. We walked in the woods together, holding his hand. To him, all those opportunities and experiences, I don't hold him. I let him walk on his own. I watch him run around our truck out here 40 laps, just keep running to burn off energy. He just loves running around. So for him to walk in 300 yards to a stand is no big deal for him, but pretty awesome, and gun hunting gives us that opportunity. That was with muzzleloader. I want to talk about some strategies that are proven to me, and I'm going to skip right to one that's my favorite right here. So I talk about afternoon food sources during gun season. Really critical. You know, the morning, first couple days of the season, awesome to get in, try to beat everyone else in there and wait for everything to come to you. And that's a big part of it. But I want to talk about when I'm going in for that morning bedding and browse area. I want to get on the back side of that bedding area, wait for deer to come to me. I love these afternoon food sources, but I kind of made here, like my stand's over here. I'm going to say afternoon food is right here. It's just in position on a map. And I'm starting at my truck right here or wherever I'm walking in from. You're not walking through that food source to get to your stand. You're going way around. And when you can go way around that food source, doesn't matter if it's ag field, big food plots, big clear cut out on public land, you go around that food source and then get into position and let those deer come back to you. And with opening day of gun, it works better than ever, because not only do you have that traditional movement, you're getting in, waiting for the deer to come back to you. You're going around food in the morning, so non-invasive, you're not spooking deer, but now you have other people hunting. In the case of some of the states, 800,000 to 1 million hunters entering the woods in the Orange Army. You're settling in behind a bedding area, waiting for the deer to come to you. Do not focus on hunting morning food. Most of the time, unless you're hunting really unpressured food plots, that are hidden and remote and you can get in and out from a distance and not spook those deer, a lot of people don't set up that way. So I'm not saying a morning food source is horrible to hunt, but there's a lot of factors. You have to get in, out without spooking deer. Has to be hidden. There has to be a reason for that buck you're after to step out on that food source in the morning hours. That means very remote, very hidden, very unpressured, no stand, no blind on the food source itself, getting in and out, screened without spooking deer. So there's a lot of conditions. So I'm looking at that perfect setup. It's kind of an end around where you're starting here, you have food here, bedding here. You're not going this way to get to it. You're going all the way around that food. Maybe you're coming in from a distance like this and sitting in that stand location waiting for them to come back to you. So tried and true strategy. You're back in thick cover. Who cares if you can only shoot 40 yards and it's with a gun? And that's why a lot of times I'm hunting with a bow on opening day of gun season, waiting for those deer to come back to me. So because it's going to be a 30, 40 yard shot. You know, again, we're hunting a lot of our bow stands. Always remember that gun season, to me as a marathon, I talk about the entire season being a marathon. Your rutcation, if you have a 9-day rutcation, 5-day rutcation, it never pays to throw it all away on that first day. Really manage your hunt, manage your expectations to where you're looking at it like, I'm going to chip away at this deer herd and I'm going to get a buck, I'm going to get a doe, I'm going to get my deer, but I'm going to do it carefully over a long period of time so that every time I go out, I'm not having a diminishing return on all my stands on the land in the area I hunt. It's not getting worse every day. I'm maintaining the integrity and quality of the hunt because I'm not going in and you know, back in the day, there were so many people driving deer, driving an ATV to your stand, being very invasive, sitting on food plots. Try not to be that person. Be different. Be different than everyone else. And I'm not calling hunters bad or that they're bad hunters. I'm just saying that most people do not hunt with a high level of strategy. That's just a fact. They're buying their favorite deer pee from a store and throwing it out on the stick on opening morning and then grabbing their favorite rattling antlers that they saw on the Outdoor Channel and banging away and expecting everything to come in when they just spooked every mature buck in the area off the land. Be different. That's the average person. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've been through that excitement. It's darn exciting on opening day, throwing out a bottle of pee and banging some antlers, thinking that every buck's going to come running to me. But then by the third day, you're complaining because you haven't seen any deer since the day one. Day two, you saw a couple. And then day three, I've gone to clients. And since the opening day of gun season, I'm there in January. They didn't see another deer in the rest of November and December. We're out there in January. They haven't been on the land for 3 weeks, and there's beds, pellets, urine, fresh rubs, deer everywhere because it's the first time they haven't been on the property in 3 weeks. So hunted so invasively middle of November, and they carried that through into muzzleloader in early December, that now the land's had a break for a month, and this is what happens. So be different, and that means maybe not sitting in the middle of a food plot with a gun blind. Sit off to the edge, meaning that I always look at it, people say, well, how close should your blind or stand be to that food source? Close enough that you can get a shot to that food source, far enough away that you could have 20 deer, 10 deer out on that food source and not spook them when you get in your blind or stand. The exception is a hunting plot, a little quarter-acre plot or less, and those deer are on the way to a big food source and it's just a pass-through. That way they're not there for that long. I look at a water hole. You know, a water hole, a deer is only spending 2 minutes there and then they're gone. I had Richard come in. He's a 4-year-old 8-point. He came in. He was around for about 2 minutes. It was really cool to watch, but he's there and leaving. If it was a bait pile, he probably wouldn't have been into the last few minutes of daylight, if at all. Even a small little food plot. We didn't get any pictures of him walking through the food plots at that time. He'll hit that water hole. It's just a quick stop and they're moving on. And that's different. But when you're sitting with a gun and you're sitting in a blind, you want to be far enough away that you can get in and out of that without spooking any deer. Be different too. Get in the woods earlier. You know, Dylan's got me on the coffee kick, you know, taking coffee to the blind or stand.
Nice, simple pleasures, man. That's all it takes.
It is, yes, black coffee. Mm-hmm. And you'll really appreciate it when, when we've shot deer in Pennsylvania, mm-hmm. and Dylan's been by my side, he pulls out his thermos of coffee. When we were in the stand the other day, when we were saddle hunting, mm-hmm. Dylan pulled out a thermos of coffee. That was probably about mid-morning, and you're getting a little chilled, and all of a sudden you have some hot coffee. And
My rule is I wait till 8 o'clock or until the sun gets up. For
oh, so you actually have a coffee rule.
Well, yeah. Well, otherwise you just waste it right away. You want it to like warm you up when you're really getting that chill.
And it really does. It warms you up. So, but I enjoy all of that, when it comes to gun hunting. I encourage you to be different than everyone else. I encourage you to get in your blind early, camp out for the day. Look at it as that it's going to be trying to make it comfortable. Get in there and enjoy the day. But know that when you're getting in there early, most people aren't. When you're not hunting over on a food source and you're not going in and spooking deer, most people aren't. When you're hunting in the backside of a bedding area on opening day and you're waiting for the deer to come to you, most people aren't. When you're getting to that bedding area by walking way around and not going through the food source or open fields to get there, most people aren't. When you're being quiet, most people aren't. Just, think about that. And when you're doing something different, then you're managing that gun season as a marathon, not a sprint. You're allowing your property to heat up, as most properties are deteriorating rapidly after the first day. I would venture a guess. I mean, it'd be amazing to know how many bucks are shot just right first thing in the morning on a good day, as opposed to in the afternoon and evening, but let alone the second day, third day. And then muzzleloader. Look at that as an opportunity. A lot of these gun seasons blend into muzzleloader. What an opportunity to hunt food sources and hunt the second rut. Incredible opportunity. We try to dumb it down with our muzzleloaders. I might get back into the Blackhorn 209 powder at some point. But we do really well with 777 pellets. It's easy. At 150 yards, we can still keep a 3-inch group. 100 yards, it's under 2 inches, 1.5 inches. And we know what it's sitting at 200 yards. I've shot deer at 254. That's a long ways with a lot of practice, knowing exactly what your loads are. In fact, my loads, when you get into from 150 to 200, you're dropping 9 to 10 inches. And if it's sighted in at 150. And then from 150 to 250, it doesn't drop 9 to 10 inches or 15 or 18. It drops about 24 to 28 inches. So you have to know your gun and your loads in order to shoot those greater distances. And let's face it, most people shouldn't be shooting over 200 yards with a rifle or over 150. So muzzleloader is a great opportunity to get out there. And I'm only using 100 grains of powder, by the way. 250 grain. They're the Barnes TMZ. Dylan, you're shooting those too, aren't you?
I'm shooting 777 pellets.
Yeah.
I kind of went through a couple different stages, and I think I'm just kind of going back to the simple route, like you suggest. I think it just makes life very, very easy.
I think one of the things that's different nowadays is like my CVAs come with a 209 breech plug. Mm-hmm. And so back in the day, the reason they do that is because
breech plug, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're with the you get more flash through the breech too, and that 209 takes more flash to ignite. And so when it was perfectly dry, the hole is the perfect diameter, everything was great, there's no moisture, that gun's going off. But as your breech plug deteriorates, gets dirty, grimy, it's middle of the season, you can have some misfires. And so they opened up that flash. They have actually a powder cavity in that breech plug. And so it's made to shoot that, where back in the day it wasn't. They started switching those out now. So literally my CVA, when I buy one, it comes with both breech plugs to put in there. So that 209 primer is pretty good stuff, but then you have to measure it out, keep your load separate. Not a big deal. But to keep it easy, we get pretty good accuracy with those 777s, and it dumbs it down, makes it simple for you. So consider the muzzleloader. I love gun seasons. Consider this, getting on the backside of bedding, waiting for them to come out to you. If you're hunting food sources in the afternoon, it's a perfect opportunity to do so this time of year. But make sure you're not spooking any deer. And again, be different than everyone else. And you'll be on target to really enjoy the gun season and not just look at it as opening day and goodbye. Yeah, I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Your followers really appreciate and taking the time. I wanted to mention we have our last minute food plots you can check out at Pure Wildlife Blends. We have a lot of different seed varieties, especially our fall power greens. We have ways to establish clover this time of year, rye, a lot of different goodies. We also have our client visits. We've already started scheduling for this year. December through next August. So there's 5 of us going to client properties. Make sure you check that out. And then finally, our books and web classes. They're great Christmas presents this time of year is when they really start to sell. So really appreciate you watching. Just check out Whitetail Habitat Solutions, or for this food plot seed company, purewildlifeblends.com. Thank you.